letting my mom decide what I eat for a full day. You guys, she said she wanted this to be like the ultimate indulgent day. So for breakfast, she picked out 6 donuts. Thankfully, my dad was there to help me eat them. And you always gotta heat up the bear claws, okay? So then they're warm and fluffy and so sugary, but still have like a little crunch. But this maple ring was actually my favorite. The icing had this great caramel brown sugar flavor. It was really light. And then the icing on this chocolate one was thick. They did not skimp, and I loved the crunchy sprinkles. Then we went skiing, and there's a restaurant on top of the mountain, and she picked out chili cheese fries, even though she's allergic to peppers, and my dad is lactose intolerant. I guess she just wanted to watch me eat the whole thing, but I'm not complaining because like the shoestring potatoes were so crispy and salty, and the big chunks of chili with the melty warm cheese. Such a good ski day lunch. I was so full. And when we got home, she said we were making maple snow candy. So you have to use pure maple syrup, and then you boil it till it's all goopy, and then you pour it over freshly packed snow. She used to make it with her dad in upstate New York, and then you roll it onto a stick, and look at how pretty and shiny, and it's like chewy but still kind of firm. It's such a fun texture, and it basically just tastes like pancake candy. I think it was a little too sugary sweet for my mom, so she made chocolate covered strawberries, and you gotta melt like a whole pack of chocolate chips so you can just smother the strawberries, which were really juicy, by the way. And that's all for today. Come fly business class with me from Singapore to America. You guys, this was a 2-story plane, and the whole second story was first and business class, and they had to show me how everything worked because it was my first time, but they were so nice. They gave me bubbles right when I sat down, like right away. And when I say they have everything, like socks, noise canceling headphones, and this little bag full of everything you could possibly need. They also handed out warm towels that I think were for your face. And the coolest thing is this fancy lounge that they have in the back. You can do like tastings. They have this huge drink menu, and this lady was so sweet. Oh my gosh, she even let me go behind the bar, and the bevs, delish. And all the flight attendants hang out back there. Like, it was so much fun. And then they give you a menu and a 3-course meal. I showed everything that I ate in yesterday's video. And also the bathroom was super roomy. They even had perfume. I might have used a little bit too much. Oh, and they had a full-length mirror. Anyway, then when you're ready to go to sleep, they make your seat into a bed, and it lays flat. It's kind of wild to be this comfortable on a plane. They even give you a comforter. I literally slept like a baby. And then we landed in Dubai, and I boarded my next flight to America, and this flight has even more leg room. So much I had to use the remote for the TV because I couldn't reach it. They serve breakfast and lunch on this flight. Everything was delicious, and that's all for today. Everything I ate at Universal Studios Singapore. They have a whole Shrek land, and you can get Shrek waffles with Ben & Jerry's on top. Incredible. And the waffle was actually pretty fire. It was crispy on the outside and soft inside and green inside. And Chunky Monkey is the best ice cream. It's so underrated. The big chocolate chunks with the crunchy walnuts. It tastes like banana bread. Anyway, then we went to ride the Mummy, and right across from the ride is an Indian restaurant. And okay, look at this butter chicken. This is theme park food, and it was actually so rich and creamy and sweet. And it came with aloo palak, which are these soft, chunky potatoes with sauteed spinach. And just look at these crispy golden brown samosas. The potato filling was fluffy, and it came with ketchup. I've never had ketchup on a samosa before, but it was so good. It added like a sweet tanginess that went really well. Then we headed to Transformers, and they had an ice cream shop. It was super hot out, so I got this tropical peach cone, and Megatron really wanted my ice cream, but I said no. And I don't know what flavor the black ice cream was, but it was really fruity and refreshing. And the Pocky sticks were nutty and crunchy and chocolatey, and there was a bunch of Sesame Street characters running around, so I got a Cookie Monster cookie that was packed with chocolate that got all melty in the best way. And finally, we went to their Malaysian food street. They had so much stuff, but I got some clay pot chicken rice, and just look at this marinated chicken. It fell off the bone, so tender. It had this great smoky flavor, and the rice gets a little crispy from the hot clay pot. So good. And that's all for today. Everything I ate in the Dubai International Airport. They had a whole street food center with a bunch of different stuff. I got pani puri, which are these delicious crispy little balls. You fill them with this yummy potato mixture, and then it came with mint chutney and this sweet and sour imli chutney, and then you fill it with this freaking delicious spicy water, and it's heavy. And it literally explodes in your mouth. It's so much flavor. It's crunchy and soft and like sweet and spicy and sour. You just have to try it. And I promise I was just walking by McDonald's, but their bakery section pulled me in. Just look at everything. And they also had a McArabia sandwich and Kit Kat McFlurries. I freaking love Kit Kats, and I've never had a Kit Kat McFlurry, and I mean, it's delicious. The crunchy bar with the smooth, thick ice cream. It's so creamy and satisfying. And okay, look at this packaging. How convenient. So it had 2 halal chicken patties, and the pita was actually like really fluffy and soft and warm. And I added some creamy tomato sauce, which was a game changer. It added so much flavor. It was actually really creamy, and also all the veggies candies were really fresh too. Anyway, then I was heading to my gate and I saw this cool Adidas store while I was wearing Adidas. I didn't plan it, I swear. And then they had this massive candy store and they also had a giant Nutella cafe with this huge Nutella jar, but I was late for my flight, so I literally had to run. I was so sad, but then I remembered that I stole some snacks from the bar on the last airplane, so my sweet tooth was satisfied. And that's all for today. Everything I ate flying business class from Singapore to America. I flew with Emirates on their 2-story plane. The whole second floor is business and first class, and there's a whole lounge in the back, and then you pick what you want for your 3-course meal. So for my appetizer, I got some meze. They also gave me some garlic bread that was smothered in butter. It was so soft and warm, and look at these stuffed grape leaves. They were filled with this really tangy rice, and they were super tender. And then for my main course, I got wild mushroom ragu with basil polenta. It was so cheesy and seasoned really well. And then for dessert, we got these little chocolates, and I chose the chocolate caramel tart that came with creme fraiche. I don't know if you're supposed to eat them together, but I did, and it was delicious. The chocolate caramel was thick and the crust was super buttery. And then it was on to the next plane where they served breakfast and lunch. They also gave me a keema paratha roll that was filled with minced lamb, and the paratha was super flaky and warm. For breakfast, I got shakshuka, which is an egg dish that came in this tomato sauce that was tangy, and the lamb sausage actually had a great snap. And then for lunch, I started out with roasted tomato soup that came with freshly baked bread. And my main course had this chicken kebab that had a really nice charred smoky flavor, and this kofta was packed with spices and herbs. And then finally I tried the dark chocolate custard cake, which was decadent. And that's all for today. Everything I ate on my last day in Singapore. I finally got around to trying all of the snacks that the resort left for us. They gave us these fancy chocolates, and this one was filled with banana flavored cream. I don't know, but it totally worked. It was delicious. And then these little cocoa covered truffles are the best. They're so rich and chocolatey and smooth and crunchy. And later we ordered dumplings, our last dumplings of the trip. Oh my gosh, how sad. These pork ones were covered in chili oil and so soft. And then these pan fried ones were a little crispy, and the leek pork filling was so salty. Yum. Then we said goodbye to our beautiful room. I hate it when the trip ends. Back to reality. But look at how gorgeous the Singapore airport is. So fancy. And you guys, Emirates upgraded me to business class. What? Look at this lounge. Are you kidding me? It was huge. They had a whole hot food buffet and this like circular dome for all the cold food. Look at all these pretty pastries and cheeses and meats. I was overwhelmed. I wanted to try everything, but I just got a few things. Oh, and they kept bringing me drinks to try. Obsessed. This macaron was filled with caramel cream. It was really tender and light. And look at this shiny chocolate tart. Oh my gosh, it was decadent, filled with this thick, smooth chocolate. And I met the chef. He was so sweet. He kept bringing me his favorite dishes, and this cheesy pumpkin soup was rich. It was so well seasoned. And this mushroom beef was super tender. He said this was his favorite. Anyway, I can't wait to show you all the stuff I eat on the plane. And that's all for today. Only eating at IKEA for a full day. Everyone knows the best thing about IKEA is the food. Look at how fluffy and warm these cinnamon rolls were, and it smelled so good. It was like super soft, and honestly, it's sugary, but like weirdly not too sweet. And it has this pillowy texture, kind of like a brioche. And then look at how massive this pretzel was, and the mustard was thick, and it had those big crunchy pieces of salt, and the mustard was strong for sure, but also really flavorful and tangy. And I also got a hot dog, which wasn't bad, but it's no Costco hot dog. It's like a little smaller, just not quite as good. And after lots of shopping, we headed up to the food court for the real reason we came, the meatballs. They also had this adorable self-assemble Easter bunny, and look at this gorgeous plate. The gravy is so shiny and buttery and really creamy, and the meatballs are juicy and like perfectly salty. And that really sweet tart lingonberry jam with the fluffy mashed potatoes is heavenly. And I also got some desserts. I have no idea what this was called, but it was covered in chocolate and it tasted like cookie dough. It was really thick too, honestly delicious. The chocolate cake was a little disappointing. It wasn't super moist or super chocolatey, but the best thing was this dime cake. It had this crunchy almond brittle and this sweet milk chocolate and this amazing caramel flavor. You have to try it. And on the way out, I got some ice cream, which was really soft and really smooth too. So refreshing because it's super hot out here. And that's all for today. Only eating Indian food for a full day. My favorite Indian restaurant just opened a new location near my house, so I ordered way too much food. We started with roasted papadum, which I actually didn't know how to eat, but apparently you crack it and then you scoop the sauces and eat it kind of like chips and dip. The mint chutney was so spicy, and the tamarind chutney was sugary and kind of tart, and the papadum was so light and crispy. And look at this gorgeous mango bhel, the juicy ripe mangoes with the crunchy puffed rice. Delicious. And of course, I had to get a mango lassi, so thick, so creamy, creamy. And then they brought these lamb seek kebabs that were so flavorful. Like whatever marinade they use is heavenly. It was juicy, super savory. Then we had to come back later because there was so much more to try. So we got this jungli la mas that had the extra spicy sign next to it. And look at how thick and shiny. Of course, you gotta eat it with the naan. And the goat was so tender. And like the spicy, garlicky tomato gravy was just bursting with flavor. It was absolutely delicious. We also got this karai shrimp that was sauteed with peppers. And it also had a lot of heat. The rice was cooked perfectly. And for dessert, they had gulab jamun creme brulee. I've never seen this. And now I need it every day. It's so milky sweet and creamy and crunchy. And you just have to try it. And they also had chocolate samosas that were perfectly light and crispy and filled with this warm chocolate. And they came with ice cream that actually had a really great vanilla flavor. And that's all for today. Only eating at Safeway for a full day. I really wanted to try all the local Colorado brands while I'm here. So for breakfast, I got this chorizo burrito that had spicy green chilies and the potatoes were really well seasoned. And then I grilled it so it got all crispy and piping hot. And they had so much prepared food and a really big hot food section. So I got this mango habanero chicken and the sauce was so fire, like actually really spicy and a great mango flavor without being too sweet. And then I found elk meat. So I had to make elk tacos and I got some spicy taco seasoning. And then you have to cook your corn tortillas or they fall apart. I learned that the hard way. And I used manchego cheese because I couldn't find cotija, but the elk was so good. It was like really flavorful, basically tastes like a juicy, meatier beef. And the seasoning was hot. Like my lips were burning because they're all chapped from skiing this week. And I don't know why stuffed mushrooms are so popular in Colorado, but my uncle used to make them all the time. So I had to try these. And the cheese got all crispy and melty in the oven and the mushrooms are soft, so juicy. And they had jalapenos too. Yum. And that's all for today. Everything I ate flying from Colorado to Florida. Every time I fly out of Denver, I have to stop at this breakfast place because their biscuits are the best thing in the world. I always get this buttermilk fried chicken one with sausage gravy and bacon. And it's like the richest, crunchiest, softest thing. It's like savory and salty and creamy. I'm obsessed. And then we packed up and headed to the airport. And I don't know if like skiing all week has made me so hungry, but I had to stop at Shake Shack. I got the cheesy fries and the Smoke Shack burger, which is their best burger. It just is. It's got these crunchy, spicy, kind of juicy peppers and smoky bacon, and the bun is always so soft. And the fries were extra crispy today. The cheese sauce is super thick and like intensely cheesy, but it goes really well with the salty fries. And I always get snacks for the plane because of course you gotta get the chocolate covered pretzels and then put peanut M&Ms in the bag with them. Oh my gosh, the pretzels are so salty and the M&Ms are so nutty. And the best Sour Patch combo is red and blue. No competition. Anyway, here's the mountain that I grew up under. It's called Pikes Peak and I lived right below it. And then when I got home, I was literally so tired, but my boyfriend had Tonight dough, which is my all-time favorite ice cream. So I just had that for dinner and the chocolate cookie swirls are everything. And then the peanut butter cookie dough with the caramel ice cream. It's everything. Also, I don't know how it's always so freaking creamy. It's so good. And that's all for today.